How about the Ducks?
Yeah, we talked about it.
How about your
Midwestern girl dad, Dana Altman. Do not doubt the brush.
He's elite. I go as far as say that's an elite coach. Now he's not all that dynamic.
Sure.
And his teams.
I think this year he eclipsed 700 wins.
Is he already over 700?
I think so.
Yeah, dude, he's a badass.
Yeah.
And he just can't, they're just so well coached. Now they're not always that fun to watch. But is college basketball that fun to watch?
Well,
the
bracket itself makes it fun, but if you're asking about the product, no, the product can be absolutely dreadful at times.
Yeah, but they're just, and in Folly Dante, that guy can be a load.
Yeah.
Like you want to talk about a player that's tough to handle.
Yeah.
If he's healthy.
And he goes 12 for 12. And here's the thing. Normally when you get upsets like that, it's because the team just shoots the lights out, right? You mentioned Kansas shot, 70% against Houston. Oregon didn't shoot anyone out of the gym. They just ground out victories. And it helps when your big fella, 12 for 12? Yeah,
Well, here's my point. My point is that imagine if they were fully healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, he's got a good team down there, and we sort of look at this like, well, because a bunch of guys are out, they shouldn't be doing anything. Well, the reality is they're still pretty good even without those players, because Dante is a hell of a player, and Shellstad's having a nice year, and and they're well coached. So like that's enough right there. I was listening to Danny and Dusty coming in, and they made a good point. It's like most of these teams don't go 7 or 8. Don't go past 7 or 8 in their lineup. Like it's just not a thing. So Oregon had some depth, and they had some players that they miss. But at the same time, once they kind of got their footing and got used to those guys being out, they're actually still a really good team.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be that shocking is all I'm saying. I mean, Folly Dante is a good player.
I believe that the Vegas line is going to reflect that. I think they're already favorites now over South Carolina.
Dude, I feel bad for South Carolina. That is a
tough draw.
That is a tough 11 seed.
Yeah.
And I get you can easily dismiss them because of the injuries. Watch them play. Yeah. I mean, they're a good team.
Well, it's kind of cool, too, that Cousinard has played 4 years at South Carolina, gets to see him again, and it's kind of a fun little story. Although, if Oregon finds a way, did you see Altman saying that he wasn't thrilled about having to potentially play Creighton? I thought that was kind of honest and pretty cool.
Well, yeah, because that's his former team.
Yeah, and he goes, I'm not trying to say that I wouldn't want to win that game, but he goes, I have a very fond memories and know a lot of those people down there, and it was, you could tell that it was actually something that he was.
Well, it was hard for him to leave. If you remember, he took the Arkansas job and then went back to Creighton. He took the job and never coached at Arkansas. He got second thoughts, cold feet, and he went back.
Yeah, Creighton's a good little program. Spent a lot of years there, but. Yeah, now that's an interesting matchup if they get to that.
Yeah.
What is that, second round?
Second round. If Oregon beats them and Creighton, who a lot of people like, they one of the teams that beat UConn.
So we could get Oregon, Creighton, and Kansas Gonzaga in the second round.
Yeah, let's go. Although if you're Kansas, you're sweating that first round.
Yeah, again, like I said, we just want to win one game this year.
Dana Altman, 42nd all-time in wins with 754.
Say that again?
42nd all-time in wins with 754.
Yeah, who's next up? Like, give me some names that are...
Let's see. He is ahead of Bo Ryan. He's ahead of Fog Allen. He is just behind Rick Barnes.
Oh, God.
He's 30 wins behind Lute Olson.
Oh, wow.
He's like 2 seasons from passing him.
That's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would have never...
Think about that.
He's only 30 games behind Bill Self.
Ooh.
Really?
Bill Self has 787 wins. Dana Altman has 754.
Wow.
Like, I know Dana Altman's a good coach. I would not have... I would have not have thought
Once you get into the 750s, you start passing some pretty good names. You got Eddie Sutton just past 806, Raleigh Massimino. Yeah, it's...
yeah, he's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And he coached at Kansas State, too. One of the reasons I respect the hell out of Dana Altman is that Kansas State was damn good when he was their coach.
Yeah.
I remember that growing up. They just were tough. Yeah. He's just a tough coach.
Yep. Yeah, you said, I think it's the... One, never having won the big one, and two, not the most dynamic guy in front of a microphone or anything like that. You know, and so you just, and Creighton and Oregon, neither one of those are very splashy programs. I mean, for all the flash that Oregon brings in football, you know, the basketball team I think is it's a lot more. I don't know, it's understated. I don't think the basketball program has nearly the national flash reputation that the football program does. So I think that kind of helps Altman stay underneath the radar.
So who beat Princeton then?
Well, I had
I'm ready to turn my bracket.
I had Missouri beating Arizona, so I'm going to go ahead and say Missouri beat Princeton. Is that yes? No? Anybody?
I'm gonna go look it up. I'm gonna grade my own.
I can look it up and play referee on this if you want.
Okay, here I'm gonna turn in my bracket.
I'm
I feel terrible about it, but I'm gonna. Give it to you.
I'll have mine here next break, and then I trust you can grade it. It's fine. So we just.
I'm just gonna let. It's more work for
for
Ryan.
Buck? Okay.
He's got to earn that bloated producer salary. So yeah, all right, yeah, go Ducks! Look at that. They play Thursday. They play in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of Russell Wilson.
Oh yeah, and not Kenny Pickett.
They will be playing the Cocks of South Carolina, who I guess are pretty good. And here's what I know about South Carolina from reading.
Okay.
They run one of these. They run at a. They are one of the slowest teams in the country.
Oh.
They slow it down. It's going to be one of those grinded out 55-50 type.
I love come tournament time how we just learn one thing about any team, and that's you're like, hey,
that's all I need.
That's all you need to know.
What is South Carolina bringing to the table? Because you never know. They could be a high flying, like you were saying. Samford is like this high flying.
Yeah, they run too deep and just they pressure you.
That's all I need to know about them. I'm terrified. South Carolina, quite frankly, learning that they are a slow it down defensive team, I think that plays right into Oregon's hands, and I think they win.
And I also know that
the Ducks.
I know that Cousinard played there. Those are the, two things. We got two things about South
I didn't
Carolina.
know that.
Yeah.
He transferred from there?
Yeah, he played 4 years there.
Well, they were picked last in the SEC, or near the bottom of the SEC, and this coach, whoever he is.
Yeah, What's His Nuts?
Has done a great job, and he will soon be the head coach at another school.
Go Gamecocks.
So that game is on Thursday at 1, right here on The Fan, guys.